Want to get some feedback on those immediate action steps that I suggested in a way back video that you have to do once you get the news that you are retrenched or you lost your job or your project is terminated? Then stick around and watch this video. Hi guys, my name is Jacques Snyman and I make videos to help you create a more secure future for you and your family. All right, feedback today. This is the first day of week 5 on my journey after having received the news that my contract or my project is not continuing. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback in terms of what have I done in the meanwhile, what has worked, what has not worked so well. So some of those actions that I suggested in a very early video is that you start by just breathing. In other words, just take in the emotion, experience it. It is a shock for any one of us. That I've done, and I've done it continually ever since. The second thing I mentioned is that you need to work on your mindset. That I've been doing, and at the end I'll come back and give you a little bit more detail in terms of that. The third thing was to define where you are in terms of specifically your finances, what you require and how you're going to take those things on, and how you're going to pay the bond if you want and pay for the basics while you are in this process of looking for another source of income. That was the definition of where you are. And then I suggested as a fourth point that you need to tell everyone. I've done that one very well. I've gone onto social. I've just alerted everyone to the fact that I'm back in the market, but I've also gone back into the network. So the social aspect hasn't worked that well. That's my feedback to you. I've done the LinkedIn update. I've done the Facebook update. I've done all of those little bits and pieces, but I'm not that active on Facebook, for example. So on LinkedIn, there are some indications of interest, but slow, very, very slow. The network, however, I've reached back into that, and that has responded very positively. Just in terms of that, the feedback right now is that there's 2 potential projects for me, both in duration somewhere between 3 and 4 months, and both of them are pretty much, I would like to believe, imminent. So I may well be able to report on in a day or two to you that at least one of them has come through and I'm back on a project again. So that's the tell everyone bit. The fourth point I indicated was just claim from your insurance or from unemployment if you can. For me, that can't work. I can't claim from anywhere, so I discounted that one. I also suggested as a fifth point that you update your CV and your resume. Clearly, I've done that right on the first or the second day, so that tool is available. If anybody needs it, I can, by the push of a button, send that off. And then the sixth point that I suggested you do is look after yourself. And there I suggested 3 areas: physical, emotional, and your mindset. Physical, I'm looking after myself, but I'm not doing too well in that sense. I'm being honest with you, I'm not sleeping enough. I'm really spending hours specifically on building the internet business, and that is taking an incredible amount of my time. So I could look after myself better if you want. The second point there was emotional well-being. There I just practically manage my state on a day-to-day basis. So I really have become much more aware of where I am and how I feel specifically, and where that sits in my body, for example, something really interesting that you should consider doing. I'm working on that on a daily basis. I'm doing affirmations and rants and mantras on a daily basis. So I'm really driving the mindset piece and just looking after myself emotionally. So that, I think, is working pretty well. I'm also, something I realized is that in life, we need to allow ourselves to continually stay open for the possibility of miracles that can happen at any moment. So an interesting thought, I know a little bit esoteric, but right at the beginning, I told you anything goes, right? So I will consider any tool or any approach or anything that I can do to help me on this journey. And that's definitely something that just kind of switched in my brain, if you want, where I'm expecting miracles to happen. There's also another thing that I've realized, and a kind of almost a penny dropping for me, and that is that I focus on the abundance around me. Literally things like the number of books I've got behind me, what my fridge and freezer looks like. You know, it's stocked with anything and everything you can imagine. The abundance in nature is absolutely mind-boggling. So I just focus on that. So it's mindset from an abundance perspective, from an expecting miracles perspective. And then something interesting, guys, that I need to give feedback on. I've been doing those mantras and those affirmations now on a daily basis. I'm now on day 18 or day 19. What is starting to happen is that I can definitely sense a shift in my RAS, my reticular activating system, in the sense that I'm noticing different things. I've come up with at least 3 critical, very creative ideas that just came out of nowhere, right? In the middle of the day, all of a sudden this inspired thought comes in and it says, go check out this, that, and the other and see if you can do something with ABC. So that's really something that I'm starting to notice, which in my mind is some form of an indication that those affirmations, mantras, and the fact that I drive my mindset to a positive state on a daily basis are actually starting to pay some dividends. So in essence, those were the 6 or 7 things I suggested that you do. There's the last thing I just want to give feedback on quickly, and that's the building of the internet business. For me, it's an incredible journey of learning new skill, because I know very little about this. Digital marketing and so forth for me is a new space that I'm moving into, and that's where the number of hours, the lots of numbers of hours come from that I'm burning at this moment in time. It is going well. I'm learning more and more every single day, and I'm applying as I go along. So I've decided to use, just as a little bit of a summarized feedback, I've decided to use video, and I've decided to use YouTube as a platform. I know there's risks in terms of all of those, but that's what I've decided. I've also created the website. The website's a little bit behind the YouTube site. YouTube videos are all fine, and I'm keeping to that drumbeat, but the website is lagging behind a little bit in terms of what I still need to do there. So all in all, I think that's progressing well. Of course, for me, I would have loved to see much more progress at this moment in time, but the interesting thing that is starting to happen, I'll be posting the 20th or the 21st video by tomorrow. There are some stats starting to show. So some interesting things happening there as well. So I just wanted to leave you with that feedback. Remember, this is a journey where we are all trying to create a more secure future for us and our families. Just in terms of, if you like these things, just guys, send me a comment, ask a question. Maybe I can help with that, or subscribe or like the video in the bottom. You know the story by now. It just really helps excite the algorithm on YouTube, and that will spread the message a little bit further. Great. So that's today. Feedback. Tomorrow I'll talk to you a little bit more about the in-depth process that I'm currently following in terms of defining or identifying those limiting beliefs that we've been speaking about for a couple of days now. Go well. Have a great day.